So we're going to take another step in this whole process of thinking through the Lord's Prayer and letting it tutor us, letting it be a model for our times of prayer. Again, I just simply encourage you to take this seriously, that when Jesus said, when you pray, pray like this, that he actually meant it. So what I want to do this time is I want to just share with you the simple structure of this prayer. I want to give you the prayer. Now, many of you have memorized it in the King James Version. That's wonderful. It is the most recited prayer in all of history, but I'm thinking that it might be the most meaningless prayer so often when we recite it, and I don't want that at all. I want it to be meaningful to you every time you pray it. So you may want to turn to Matthew chapter 6 or Luke 11, but go to Matthew chapter 6. It's a fuller statement there. And just follow along as we look at this prayer. But first of all, what I want to do is I just want to mention it's recorded in two places, Matthew 6 and Luke 11. And this is significant because when Jesus says something once, we need to listen up. When he says basically exactly the same thing twice, we really need to listen up. In Matthew chapter 6, Jesus initiates the conversation and he speaks to his disciples and he says, okay guys, listen, when you give like this. When you pray, pray like this. And when you fast, fast like this. He's giving them specific instructions for spiritual disciplines. And when he comes to the part of praying, he says, when you pray, this is how I want you to pray. He initiates the conversation. The disciples listen. Luke 11, this is important. Luke 11 is not a parallel account of Matthew 6. It's not Jesus saying, it's not Luke describing the same event as Matthew describes in Matthew 6. Luke 11 is a different setting. It probably happened 18 months to 2 years after the Matthew 6 account. There, the disciples come and they say, Jesus, John taught his disciples to pray. Come on, teach us to pray. And I can just picture Jesus. I haven't seen the video, but in my head, I watched him. I can just picture Jesus sort of getting a little smile on his face and saying, yeah, I can do that, because he knew that he was going to say almost exactly what he said in Matthew chapter 6. So I can picture Peter and Nathaniel taking out their papyrus, taking notes here. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And about that time, they're saying, Peter, haven't we heard this somewhere before? And Jesus is, by this time, he's grinning because he knows that he's telling them then, in response to their question, almost exactly what he told them when he initiated the conversation months before. So the way that this prayer develops is this. There's 4 key nouns in the first half of the prayer, 4 key verbs in the second half of the prayer. Our Father, your name, your kingdom, your will. First half. Second half, give us. 4 key verbs. Give us, forgive us, lead us, deliver us. I want to suggest that if you get those 16 words, 8 pairs of words, you'll get the essence of this prayer. You'll get the essence of all praying. So let me say them again. The nouns are Father, name, kingdom, will. The verbs are give, forgive, lead, deliver. Now there are pronouns attached to these words. The 4 key pronouns in the first half is our, and then your. In the second half, it's give us, forgive us, lead us, deliver us. Us is the key pronoun in the second half. Your is the key pronoun in the first half. I remember when I first discovered this, I thought, wow, there's a your half to prayer. I had acted as there was only an us half of prayer. But the your half comes before the us half. We'll unpack this along the way, but I want to encourage you. Remember those 16 words and maybe just pray from those 16 words. Memorize at least those 16 words and pray them. Your prayer life will become much better.